Well, I haven't been here for a while, like a month and a half, but excluding 2-week break, I've got some decent progress so far. I added some crazy things, some less crazy, and the boss. Well, that's it, but maybe more about it later. So I'm not sure if I told you, but I want this game to be hectic, and frenetic, and over the top, and... okay, that's enough. But I wanted to have all sorts of weird things. But what weird things I'm talking about? So as you can see, the game takes place in some sort of old castle with purple bricks. We're playing as a turtle with gun, but I thought it is not weird enough. I tried to add an active item that would call an airstrike. Some rockets would be dropped from the air and kill enemies. But I kind of forgot that my game doesn't have a top-down perspective like Enter the Gungeon or The Binding of Isaac. And Enter the Gungeon has airstrike, even though it doesn't make sense to have an airstrike in Enter the Gungeon, because how the hell are these rockets dropped? Through the ceiling? But nobody cares, it's fun to have an airstrike. And now imagine my game where ceiling is visible, and some levels have ceiling, some have not, some have a little bit of ceiling and a little bit of no ceiling. And I had some options to deal with that, like having separate rockets directions for every single level and disabling an ability to use that item indoors. But it would make this item useless, everybody just would take an item that is usable everywhere, and setting those separate directions would be too much work as for the item nobody wants to take. So here comes my solution. I just added activable terminal. It sometimes spawns on some level of my choice, it is one-time use and calls an airstrike. But it would be boring if it just called an airstrike, so terminal itself becomes a rocket and flies up into the air when activated, exploding on hit and damaging enemies. And that's it. I would like to add more of environmental items like that, for example falling chandeliers and I guess some more. So if you have any ideas, let me know. So maybe a short summary of what else I've done before we move on to the cherry on top. The boss. When it comes to active items, I've added a system for that and one simple item, health potion. It heals 1 heart and it's consumable, disappears after you use it. You can only have one active item at a time and I still didn't figure out how I want them to recharge. I added few vanity items like banners, candles and those bookshelves. I really found this castle too boring without that and it probably still needs a lot more. And I've got this idea from people on Twitter. I still don't know how I didn't come up with the idea of banners myself. And yeah, I've got a Twitter and I'm posting there almost daily, so if you want to be up to date, you know where to go. I drew an altar and added it to the game. It doesn't do anything yet. It looks like some sacrifice health, gain reward sort of thing, but if you have more interesting ideas, you can write it in comments. Last thing, I started working on challenge rooms. I made a take no damage challenge and you get a chest if you do so. And this chest falls from the air and bounces a little bit, which I find freaking cool, but it still needs more polishment. And yeah, we finally got there, the boss fight. I think every roguelike needs boss fights and I would like to have a small game loop ready. Like, you know, you go through levels, collect items, but what is the goal? So for now, goal will be to beat the boss. Of course there will be more bosses, but I guess with some polishment, more rooms and enemies, that game loop will be enough to release small demo. So it looks like this. Of course it's in style any of my enemies are. Its skin is that pinky red and it has a lot of eyes. I don't really have a lore for that game yet, but I like how I could assemble it from all weird pieces I put into it. Are those monsters attacking the castle or does the castle belong to them? I don't know yet. This little guy has a few attacks right now and it's just a bullet hell. It's nothing special, he just moves in few directions, rotates and shoots bullets. He can also charge into wall, releasing bullets on hit. And I've got some problems with that charge, so here is the compilation of some of my fails. And by the way, if anybody tells you that he will do something using only one class to not complicate things, just punch him in the face. Refactoring that code probably deserves a separate episode and you could learn a lot of good programming practices from it. And I guess that's all for now. Now I wanna finish the boss fight and maybe polish core gameplay a little bit to make it a bit more juicy. If you liked the video, you know what to do, and any comments are also appreciated. See you next time.